into action, and it's not working because remember, he's not in that little racist town anymore. He's he's somewhere else, and where he's at, that's not okay. Okay, so, but everyone else not understanding, they're not seeing that. All they're seeing is this little racist kid who is, in their eyes, a fucking bigot. He's a fucking racist. Like, what the fuck? This kid never gave him any fucking reason to believe that he's this way. But in that little white kid's eyes, he's just fucking like a monster. And he's like trying. So then, um, well, I'll give you the scenario of, okay, so he gets kicked out of school. And then now he's branded as a fucking racist. You know what I mean? And his whole world is crumbling. Like, he is completely affected in every way, shape, and form um, behind this, situation, all because of him calling him a nigger and all this shit. Let's throw social media in there. Now they're fucking spreading shit about him. He can't get a job. He can't go anywhere without people seeing him. Like, let's just say the whole viral shit, how people go viral. Maybe someone recorded it and fucking like, so now he's known as that racist kid, who fucking called this innocent black kid a fucking nigger, all because he accidentally didn't even show him. He just kind of like brushed against him on, and it was genuinely an accident. You know what I mean? Whatever, for whatever reason, just for the sake of argument. And now this is what he has to deal with, the consequences. Okay, and it's really fucked up. And I know people are probably like, "Oh no, that's not fucking. He's a racist." What you? Okay, well, let's rewind again, and let's say he's a kid now, okay? He's not an adult, but everything's the same situation, okay? He's walking in his hallway with his little book pack on, and the other little kids right there walking with his little book pack on, and let's say they're in like 6th grade, okay? And they're walking in the hallway, and a little black kid fucking kind of same thing, shoves him a little bit, and the little kid's like, was just so pissed off and angry, and just, nigger. Are you going to have that same outrage, same anger, everything the same as you did with him being an adult in the situation? Or will there be some leniency? Will there be a little bit more understanding, a little bit more compassion? And especially if you meet his dad, his family, and you're like, oh my God, now I see why the little kid is like that. Like, look who his family, you know what I mean? And then that outrage turns into compassion and empathy and all that fucking goody shit. Like, poor kid, oh my God, now instead of you guys like ruining his whole life, now you guys are trying to fucking find a solution and say like, oh my God, look what this kid has gone through. Like, it's his parents' fault. Like, look what they fucking taught him and all this, just all these different things, how people do and shit like this happens. But it's nothing like that at all when it comes to the adult mindset or mind frame. And again, everything's the same, situation is the same, everything. Only difference is one is a kid and one is an adult, or this happened when he was a kid and then versus this happened when he's an adult. How can you understand? How can you explain that? How can you understand that? Like, there's no way to like say, okay, that's right. Okay, so for example, like, I'll give you another example, okay? We can reverse that role and say that it was a white kid who was like the aggressor, and it was the black kid who kind of got shoved, and like he's like, oh, like that. But then the white kid's like, oh, fucking blows a big ass out of proportion just because he's a racist, He wants to know, and he just plays victim, Now then you have this black kid who's in college, he's a athlete or something, okay? Now he's labeled as fucking a monster, a fucking delinquent or whatever, a fucking aggressor, or a fucking just all this other shit, to where he's like completely ruined his career, everything's ruined, he gets kicked out of the college and shit like that, all because this little racist white kid is like, whatever, about him and stuff, and the scholarship's gone, all that shit's fucking gone, it's bye, But then you reverse it, say, okay, now he's a little kid, alright? Now everyone's trying to justify, the little white kid or whatever, just for sake of argument, my race or whatever. And they're like, well, it's not his fault. He's raised like that, and then it's like, oh, what a little boy, like the black boy, it's not his fault, it's just so much, compassionate empathy when you're a kid in these situations versus when you're an adult. But I know I'm gonna keep saying it over and over again. It's probably gonna be tired of hearing me say it, but everything is the same. Literally, everything is the same. Except for in this situation, unlike the domestic violence and that drug scenario I gave you earlier, this is a completely different scenario in entirety, okay? But it's the same fucking, same like, understanding or whatever, same connection. It's just like how you can have a scenario or a situation that's exactly the same, everything the same, but have two completely different outcomes, consequences, just repercussions. It's just everything is completely different. Now, here's the big question, okay? I know you guys are probably like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what does this have to do with anything? Okay, I promise it's all going to connect in it. Okay, so it goes like this. Basically, like, hold on, wait, I lost it. Wait, it's going to come back to me. Wait a minute. Okay, good and bad, right or wrong. Okay, so how it ties into that. How is it that you can say one is right and the other isn't? How can you say one is bad but the other isn't if everything's the exact same? Aside from perspective, the scenario is everything's the same. But how you look at it, or if for the first analogy, how they looked at it, that's the only difference in any of these scenarios I just given you so far. Okay? But everything else is exactly the same. So this is why I say there's no such thing as right or wrong, good or bad, evil. None. There's not. The only thing that there is is perspective. Okay? And then I'll give you even a fucking go a little bit deeper. Perspective along with teaching, like, you know what I mean? Like, people don't understand that when you're born as a baby, you don't know shit. Like, you know nothing. You're just kind of like, wah, crying all shit, You don't know anything. Everything that you are, that you become, everything that you understand, even down to your perspective, like, just everything, it is all learned behavior. All of it. It's all learned behavior, right? It's all taught one way or another. Now, people can be taught the same thing, and because of their perspective, understand all that other shit, can interpret it completely different, and then that different interpretation can mold and stem their actions. I don't know if that makes sense or whatever. Basically, give you an example for that. It's like, okay, say like back to racism again, you have white people, black people, or even cops and black people, or whatever, you know what I mean? You have black people who will be completely and totally like fearful of, cops, especially a white cop or something like that, But they can justify why they act the way they act, why they feel the way they feel, based off of perspective. For example, if you say, okay, a cop shoots a black guy, whatever. Some people are going to say, hey, well, I mean, cop is, he's got to watch, like, he doesn't know what can happen. The black guy may have fucking priors of being violent or whatever the case may be. Whatever, there's so many different scenarios that can go into that. But both sides can justify why they feel the way they feel about the other. And the point that I'm like really trying to like make is that, does that make either one of them right or wrong? Does that make either one of them good or bad? In my opinion, and if you really are thinking of it from a logical standpoint, it doesn't. It doesn't make them good or bad, right? It just makes their understanding different. Their perspective's different. So, knowing that difference, no matter how big or how small it is, depending on the situation, scenario, or person, can affect a person like tremendously. And that's why it's so fucked up. I feel so fucked up because this can, like, it can make or break people. Okay? And I feel like that's why nothing will change. Nothing's going to change in this world, in this life at all, because too many people cannot wrap their mind around that concept of no good or bad, no right or wrong, no good or evil type of shit. Perspective. Okay? Give you, like, I don't know. I don't know how long I'm gonna do this video, whatever. And then, like, comment and all that shit, subscribe everything. Maybe I'll touch more on it or something in another video, or I don't know. But this is basically just like food for thought, okay? Because I don't know what I'm trying to do, honestly. I really don't. I just know that I know I have a purpose, I guess. I know that, like, I'm meant to, like, change shit or whatever. I don't really know how I'm gonna do it. I just know that I'm gonna do it. It's gonna get done. Like, I probably won't, like, change the whole world. Or who knows? You never know, you know what I mean? But I just know that this conversation will, like, do something. It will unlock something. Whether it just be food for thought. It's gonna get people thinking. And, like, I think that's the greatest gift, curse, you know what I mean? Is the ability to think. You know what I mean? Because, in my opinion, like, people like Hitler, people like fucking all these dictators, all these different, different things like that. The cartels or like the mafia, just different things. Like, growing up, I always ask myself, like, how could a select amount of people have this much power? You know what I mean? Or how could this one person have that much power? You know, they may not even have to use violence. They may not even have to. Just that level of influence is so powerful. You know, I don't know if you believe in the Bible or whatever, or anything like that, or God or whatever. Like, to each their own. I don't judge. Like, I really don't give a fuck of what you believe. Like, that's your shit, you know. But I just know that in the Bible it says that, like, the tongue, like, is the most powerful thing in the world. Your tongue, the words you speak, is the most powerful thing. Your tongue is like I think it's double-edged sword, some shit like that. I don't know. Don't quote me, but it's powerful. And I think that that's so fucking true, dude, because, like, the level of influence is a common denominator with, cartels, mafias, motherfucking, Hitlers and dictators and shit like that. They don't even have to carry a gun if they don't want to. It's just their voice. And I don't think people understand that, like, how deep that really goes. That, like, bro, all it takes is influence. All it takes is just the right words to the right people at the right moment that will deadass, like, spark instant change. And that could be negative or positive. It just all depends on the who, what, when, where, why. You know what I mean? And more importantly, the why behind it. But that's it. You know what I mean? They're like, okay. And people are probably gonna talk shit about this too. Okay, we're going in today. I don't know. I'm like, fuck it. We're going all the way in about everything. Okay. Fucking let's talk about fucking guns. Okay. People think like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna go get a gun. I'm gonna kill somebody or something. I'm gonna shoot somebody. Oh yeah, that makes you bad, tough, whatever. You're really powerful with a gun, but no. Do you want to know what makes people even more powerful than someone who has a gun? Someone who does not have a gun, but have the same impact as someone who does. For example, like, people say, like, okay, I'll give me for example. I was in, like, a domestic violence relationship for, like, a long ass time, okay, with my kid's dad, whatever, and it was bad. It was really, really bad, you know. And I used to kind of like ask myself, you know, like, why the fuck why do I stay? Like, why don't I just like leave? Like, the first time like that, like he put his hand on me, why don't I just like, so, you know, people always say, oh, I would leave. I would never like all that shit, you know. But it comes back to words being more powerful than more of a weapon. Like, okay, if you hit somebody or you break their bones or something, that shit heals. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, unless you kill them. But if you don't kill them, it's gonna heal. The bones, the scratch, it's gonna heal. The only thing that takes like a longer time to heal, or that doesn't always heal, is words. I think in that situation, I was way more affected by the fucked up shit he was saying to me versus like looking like I'll take a beating before being verbally abused by someone, because I think that has way more fucking of an impact, way more lasting like problems. I think like if you took like a poll of like people who dealt with like physical abuse versus people who dealt with emotional psychological abuse, I'm pretty confident that like the people who had that emotional, they will tell you that they're still trying to heal from it. They're still trying to figure it out, or they have had more issues like drug use, different things based off of being emotionally scarred, or you know what I mean, verbally abused. Like that shit sticks with you because it's not something that scar will fucking just appear and it's gone. You know, whatever. It's not something that just goes away, you know? It's stuck in you. Like, it replays, words, shit like that. Sorry, I'm going off topic, but that's back to whole influence shit. You have more power in the words that you say than the weapons that you carry physically. You know what I mean? That's why I guess why they say, like, spiritual warfare and all that shit, you know? It's true, like, that's why I can confidently say that I'm going to, I'm not gonna say change the world, but I'm gonna say like initiate a change just based off of words. And it's weird because like I know how to do it. Like I could be very manipulative, you know, if I wanted to. I've been very manipulative in my life, you know, based off of just, you know, not evil me or whatever, just going through a lot of fucked up shit, you know, just wanting to hurt people. And one thing that I can remember, like growing up or whatever, is like an instant of, okay, story time. So, when I was a kid, I was in middle school. I got arrested for the first time. Okay, I don't really share this story with a lot of people, but I share it with you guys or whatever. But so basically, I went to school and I got called to the principal's office, and there was a sheriff in there waiting for me. He called my aunt and all this shit and everything, and basically they were telling me like, oh, you know, what happened the other night. Okay, rewind. So here's what happened. For whatever reason, I don't even know why I did it. I'm looking back, but I used to catch the bus and shit from school, okay? To get home. So I just didn't want to go home that day. You know, I don't really know what shit I was going through at that time. You know, I was always going through something. But so there was two girls that were my friends, whatever, and I was like, hey, you know, let's ditch you guys. You know, let's not go home. Let's just go. Long story short, so we get off the bus on the wrong stop. Hours go by, we're smoking weed, we're drinking, we're just chilling, and I'm like, we're in sixth grade, right? Or yeah, we're in sixth grade, and oh shit, so it starts getting late. They want to go home, and I'm like, it's not that I couldn't go home. I didn't want to go home, you know, for whatever issue I was having at home. And they wanted to go home, and I just was like, you know, no, you guys, we can't go home. Like, you're gonna get in trouble, like, you know. And so then I was so angry that they wanted to go home because I have abandonment issues. And I don't like to be alone, and I didn't want to go home because the shit was going on and all these different things. So I was so angry that they wanted to leave me that I'm like, okay, all right, I'm gonna let them leave. But I'm gonna have some fun with it too. No, don't judge me, okay? I was a little kid. I was going through a dark time and pretty fucked up, okay? So if you want to skip this part of the video, that's fine. It's kind of sadistic, a little fucked up what I did. But anyways, okay, so I come up with this plan. I tell him, say, hey, you know what? I know how we're not going to get in trouble. What we're going to do is we're going to say that we got kidnapped. Okay, we're going to pretend we got kidnapped and tell our parents, like, oh, we were held hostage, okay? And we had to, like, get away and just, well, I don't remember fully, so, and longer story, even short, okay? So what we ended up doing is, first, this is kind of the sick part, okay? Don't judge me. But, again, this all stemmed because they wanted to leave me, and I was, like, so mad that they wanted to, like, leave me, you know, whatever, and go home to their family and be normal, whatever, you know? So I made them run around in circles. And I kept telling them, like, you know, your heart rate's got to be up because you got to make it believable. Like, they're not going to believe us if, you know, so we went to, like, this field or whatever. I don't remember where, but it was by our school field. And they were running around in circles. Mind you, I'm just standing off to the side and I'm just telling them what to do. And they're dumbass, like, they're doing it. I'm just seeing like, it's fucking stupid. I'm like, you guys run around in circles, run around in circles. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, all right, roll around in the dirt. Roll around in the dirt so that way we can say we jumped out the car and, like, you know, whatever. And so they start rolling in the dirt, whatever. And then I'm like telling them, like, scratch her, hit her, whatever. Like, you know, just all this kind of fucked up. You guys don't judge me, but all this stuff. And so, you know, they're like basically fighting each other, you know, to make it look real. And rip her shirt, you know, like all this shit, like pull her hair, all these different things. And they're doing all of this just because I'm telling them to do it, you know. And basically, okay, well, fast forward. So then I'm done with it already. I'm like, all right, I'll let him go home. I want to go home now too. Anyways, I'm hungry, you know. So I'm like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're going to run down the street and we're gonna bang on people's doors and we're gonna be like, help, 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 you know, like. And we just got kidnapped and we jumped out of the car and, like, we don't know the guy is somewhere, blah, 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 all this shit, okay? And finally we get to, like, the third house and then, like, somebody's like, first of all, it's a panic now because fucking we knocked on, I think, like 6 houses or something like that from both sides of the street. So you have all these people coming out of the house. It's not funny, but we have all these people coming out of the house and they're, like, concerned, like, oh my god, there's these 3 little girls and, like, saying they got kidnapped and all this shit. Like, where's their parents? You know, it's this big ass thing. So then, and before all this, I told him, I was like, do not tell. Like, this is the story, and we're gonna stick to the story, you guys. Okay? I'm not kidding. And I know, like, they were probably scared of me. They probably were. Like, it was a little twisted. And I was kind of like mean about it, you know. Like, I might have, like, hit both of them or something. I don't know, but they were pretty scared. So, like, I just told them, like, oh, don't say anything, you know. This is the story, and as long as we all stick to this story, this is the story that's going to be. They're going to believe this, and we won't get in trouble. Trust me, okay? Now, so, boom, that happens. Sheriff comes out, whatever. We're crying. I'm crying, and I'm like, oh, it was horrible. Like, and they're like, you know, they take us to the hospital and had us get the whole little rape kit, like everything and stuff. And the whole time I'm still telling the same story, okay? So fast forward. Sorry, it's a long story. But fast forward. For whatever reason, I was like, you don't have to go to school if you don't want to, you know, like, I understand that. And this is another thing, and this is why it's not okay, and this is why I did get arrested and I got in trouble, because falsifying a police report is not okay. And it's illegal. You can't do that. You will go to jail. So, because we made a real police report and we said, you know, this happened. So the cops are out looking for this fucking 6 foot tall white fucking male who we claim had kidnapped us, right? And shit. And so, God forgive me, like, hopefully they never found nobody that fit that description with the fucking pickup truck, and God forbid the guy is probably in jail somewhere, or that, whatever might have happened, because we gave a pretty descriptive description of some white guy, you know, and 3 little 6th grade girls fucking who claim they got kidnapped. You know, it's a pretty fucked up situation. So hopefully, anyways, that's what's pretty sore. I'm like, no, I want to go to school, you know, because mind you, I don't really give a fuck. So I go to school, And I'm thinking, like, you know, and everyone's coming to me asking, did you guys really get kidnapped? We heard you got kidnapped. By that time, like, the whole school knew about it. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, whoa, like, wait a minute, you know? This was after school, and I didn't think no one knew about it. But anyways, so, like that. And then, I'm, you know, going to school after lunch. One of the people coming to find me, they're like, when the bell rings, go to the office, you know, Mr. Jacob wants to, talk to you or whatever. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, oh, fuck, maybe they're gonna probably ask me what happened to, like, goddamn, I'm thinking in my head, like, going over the story, like, okay, this is what it is. So I get in there, okay, and he's looking at me, and he looks pissed, and there's a cop in there and all this shit. I'm like, what the fuck, you know? And me, I have a little disorder where, when I am nervous or, like, scared or anything, I would smile, I would laugh, and I know a lot of people who do this too. But it's a defense mechanism. It's like, or whatever. Later I found this out. Anyways, so yeah, I would smile and laugh, and it's not that I thought shit was funny. It's just that I was nervous or I was probably scared or something. I don't know. But I started laughing, and then he's like, and the principal got pissed, and the more mad he got, sorry, he, I laughed more, you know, shit like that. So then he called my aunt. Like, is this a joke to you? This all this shit. And I'm like, what? And he's like, what happened? And I just kept going on the same story. So about maybe like a half hour goes by. My aunt finally comes and all this shit. And then two girls that were with me, they go into the office right there and they're like, call them in there. What happened that day? And then I look at them and I just was like, and then they start crying. She's lying. And they told everything. And I was saying like, oh, fucking bitches. Like they fucking, you know.